be a bit scary. But how do we cope with those changes? Well, joining me today to help us do just that is Jenny Cornell, the Clinical Director for Summit Counseling Services. Good morning, Jenny. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Thanks for
Happy
having me.
Monday. Of course, you're always welcome here. Actually, as I read that sentence, I was going to start somewhere else, but I think changes obviously in life can be big or small, but I think a big change that we go through is we go to a weekend, then it's Monday morning. Some of us find it very haunting or daunting to cope with. Is true? Could that be a change?
Oh, yes. I mean, change isn't always a big, huge change, like a change in a job or change in moving. Change can be really small. It can be the change of different shoes, even. I mean, it's something. It's different because it's a different sensation than what we're normally used to. So change can be external and it can be internal. So things around us or how we feel inside. So it doesn't have to be a huge, momentous thing.
Right. So it's not like you're moving across the country. That's a big change. Or maybe you have
Right.
a change of a breakup or you lost a family member. Different changes, absolutely. And it's something that I didn't even think of when I was kind of prepping for this until I read it across your talking points. I was like, oh, I guess you have a point. And so, and it all has to do with different changes coming along the way and just embracing that. And I'm guessing we're using mindfulness.
Yes. Yeah, mindfulness can be really helpful for us to kind of embrace change. I made up this little quote a long time ago is embrace change as it's the best opportunity for improvement. Because without change, we really can't see any difference. Things are going to remain the same. And we always think we, as human beings, we want to have predictability. We want to have that control, but ultimately we don't have that total uber control that we would like. Life is very random and there's a lot of things that we can't control. So holding on to the things the way they are all the time may bring us some comfort because it brings predictability, but life really isn't predictable all the time. We can
Hmm.
do things that can reduce, the influx of change in our life, by being responsible and, following through with our duties, and things like that helps us to mitigate any, increased change and things that come into our life. But it is a part of our life. And the more that we accept it, the more that it doesn't create quite a ripple in our life. And, it's kind of like a fish swimming upstream. Change is kind of a constant thing. And when we resist a change, we're trying to swim upstream and we can exhaust ourselves and make ourselves all sorts of unnecessary feelings about it. And that's where mindfulness can help, is because it really helps us focus on the present moment, what's here in the now. It helps us to understand the facts of what's here right now and to be more objective. Because a lot of times when we're fearing change, we're fearing something different, will bring in a lot of our different cognitive beliefs or different experiences from the past. Anything that doesn't really have to do with the current present moment, but it's things we've experienced before that we use to kind of draw forward and bring into our present moment for information.
Absolutely. I think those are some good points. And kind of how you started that to how you ended that answer was there. To me, it's okay to feel overwhelmed, but then you can kind of bring it full circle and bring in the
Yes.
mindfulness in a way. And so I guess that leads me to the next question of how can we adapt to all of this change by using the mindfulness and other methods?
Well, one of the first ways of adapting is kind of understanding what holds us back from embracing change. And if you're a person that doesn't like change, that's okay. We're not saying that hating change is a bad thing. It's just of knowing when to kind of embrace it and accept it, because there's a point in our lives where acceptance is going to lead to our best interest rather than resistance of the change. And some of the common things that really hold us back from embracing change is a lack of awareness of the different types of change, like we talked about the internal, the external, the big, the small, all that kind of different information. A second one is a sense of attachment to the things the way they are. Like we talked about that predictability and that control. Like I must keep everything the way it is because that's what I'm used to. And the third one is the tendency to resist the unknown because we fear what we don't know. And And that leads us into some avoidant behaviors, which may create more tension rather than ease the tension by accepting it. And that's where mindfulness can help, is because we're collecting that information in the present moment so that we can accept the present moment. And acceptance does not mean approval. I stress that so much because we feel like if we're accepting it, we're agreeing with it and we're saying, yes, that's what I want. That's not what acceptance is. Acceptance is just acknowledging the facts that are in front of us. Doesn't mean we have to like them, but just acknowledgement of them.
That's a good point too that you brought up, because yeah, sometimes we have no choice but to do the change. Doesn't mean we like it. There's a lot of things that you could think of right off the top of your head that I think we go through daily with some things.
Yeah. Yep, the Monday thing, well, it's Monday, I gotta go to work.
Yeah, you have a very good point. I gotta wake up at 3 a.m. Absolutely.
Right.
And
The
so,
whole adulting thing.
yeah, that happens the older you get.
Yep.
So how do we go about this? I think we talk about too, and I don't know if this is one thing, but one thing that I like to go through my day is hold my breath and do a big sigh every once in a while. That's my way of coping. Is that one way that you recommend?
Yeah, there's tons of different ways. We've talked about we can use mindfulness to help with that. And some of the mindfulness that I like to do, because life can get very busy, is I like to do some like meditations or guided imagery, which you can find on YouTube. You can find all over a bunch of different free ones. But I like to listen to any of that, include music you can use to help you with your mindfulness. But one of my favorite one is letting go with guidance. So it's kind of gives you instructions of like noticing what's around you, focus on the present moment, let go of the judgments, let go of any negative feelings that you have right then and there, because sometimes I need those reminders to not be a negative Nancy at certain times, especially if I'm in a certain mood, or my husband says slangry, which is a new version of hangry.
Oh, okay.
Sleepy, tired, angry.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
So you can get it depending on your mood, you can need these certain kind of reminders. But I also like to just have those moments, those meditation moments, to help me change my perspective. And it's whether it's 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 15 minutes, half hour, whatever time you got. But anytime you just pause, reflect, turn on some music. If you don't like music, just listen to the nature around you. Spring is a great time for that because we got the birds chirping. There's a lot of more wind sounds. There's just nature can provide that musical kind of focus. If you don't want any music or don't have music that's accessible to you at that time.
I love those answers. You know what I found myself doing the other day, Jenny? I was out for a walk. It was like one of the first nice days here. And sometimes walks are daunting, like I just want to get this done. But then I opened up my mind and I was like, this is actually really nice. And I enjoyed my walk a little bit better. I brought mindfulness and it was amazing to see the difference. I was thinking of you during that. And so thank you for doing that. And but in the meantime, Jenny, we're out of time, unfortunately. Where can we find more information from you?
Absolutely. You can reach us on the website at summitcounselingservices.org, or you can find us on Facebook, or you can stop by one of our 3 offices in Williston, Dickinson, and Bismarck, or give us a call at 701-751-0299.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jenny. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.